the Sony Xperia 1 Mark V is a pretty hot phone right now, but it's not overheating. I say hot because there's a lot of interest in it, and I've had a lot of questions, and I see a lot of comments where people are like, oh, I would love to get this phone, but the Sony phones, they overheat too bad. So I wanted to make a dedicated video talking about the heat on this phone. Well, there's two major things, and this is the solution. This is what Sony did to fix it. Now, we know, or at least a lot of us know, that one of the biggest things is the new chipset that's in it. So the Xperia 1 Mark IV, just like the OnePlus 10, just like the S22 Ultra and those series phones last year, had the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1. It had a lot of heat-related issues. So it wasn't so much that Sony was isolated in using the same chip. The issue is that their phone is really thin and it didn't really put enough stuff in there to help mitigate the heat. Well, on top of that, they didn't really do a whole lot of throttling either. And Samsung was doing a lot of throttling. They were kind of cheating behind the scenes using their game optimization service that was basically throttling everything on the phone and not just applying to games and stuff. So yeah, they got in trouble. Their phones got delisted from benchmark for like the last 3 or 4 years. So yeah, there was a lot of heat issues last year, and the Xperia 1 Mark IV was absolutely the worst. I mean, if you had one, you know that, especially in warmer climates, it was not good. So whenever they showed off the design of the Mark V, well, understandably, I had some concerns because the phone is very thin. It's very, very thin. It's very compact. It doesn't have a whole lot of space in there, not a lot of room to move air around, not a whole lot of anything really to try and keep the phone cooler. So when I first saw that, I was like, this is going to be a recipe for disaster. So I knew the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 would fix a lot of things because I've used it in several other phones. I've tested it in the OnePlus 11. I've used it in the S23 series, the S23 Ultra that I have, and it's been light years better than last year. So biggest thing, the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 fix a whole lot of the heat issues by just not creating as much. So they've done a lot of software optimization, a lot of hardware optimization, and the chip just doesn't produce as much heat under the same situations and circumstances. So that's what really leads to it. But also they've added 60% more thermal dissipation stuff. So I've actually got a picture here. I scalped it from their website because they talk about it. This is what they did. High performance for extended use. Compared to its predecessor, the Xperia 1 Mark V offers significant power management and consumption improvements and the volume of the heat diffusion sheet. So they have a diffusion sheet that is basically a heat sink, kind of. And what that does is it helps spread out the heat and pull it away from the processor. It's 60% larger in volume over last year. So how in the world they managed to fit that in here and increase that heat dissipation sheet by 60%? Well, that also leads to a lot better performance. And I've tested this. I mean, I made a video, well, I didn't actually make a dedicated video, but I talked about it and the heat related issues and how basically I haven't really experienced any at all. And in fact, I recorded a 21.5-minute video in over 80-degree weather with this, and it didn't overheat. And it took over 10 minutes before it even really started any tangible heat you could feel on the phone at all. It was a little warm by the time I got to 21.5 minutes, but that's pretty understandable for basically any phone. And another nice thing, that of course they had this last year, but it does have the pass-through charging. So if you want to use this for some serious gaming, you want to use this for like mobile esports stuff, it's funny, a lot of people really laugh at that, but these phones, I can't remember what it's called. There's an accessory that Sony has you can buy, and I think it only came out internationally. An apparatus that you can plug into the phone into, and it like gives you the extra grip. It gives you a hardwired LAN port cable, like all sorts of crazy stuff. It's actually rated as one of the best esports phones that you can get because of the pass-through charging, also because of the accessory. But there's a lot going on here. I mean, we've got a 4K screen, 6.5-inch, 120 hertz refresh rate, 5,000 milliamp battery. It's shooting some amazing photography and video. So yes, those are the two keys to success that Sony pulled out of their arsenal, and they were so committed to keeping this form factor. And as much as I was worried about it from the get-go, I actually am really happy about, because I love the form factor on my Mark III. I love the form factor on the Mark IV, and that's one of the things that's actually a point of contention with this phone. A lot of people say they don't like this form factor. They want one that's wider. They want one that's bigger. And when it comes to these phones, I mean, we're not always going to be happy. I mean, there's a lot of people that, I had somebody that was upset that the back panel is Gorilla Glass Victus 2 and it's not plastic. I mean, for $13.99, I would hope it's not plastic. But yeah, the glass, actually works out pretty well. And it's funny, it makes that noise because it's textured Gorilla Glass Victus too. So there have been far and away a lot of improvements on this phone. Basically, Sony went back to the drawing board. They said, look, we want to keep this, but we want to make it the best version that we can. And we want to make this the best opportunity for people to enjoy our platform. And I know a lot of folks are like, look, they have less than 1% market share. Look, this phone is not designed to grab global market share. I mean, if you even take a look at the views on the videos for it, I mean, you take a look at a video for a Samsung phone and it's just like thousands and thousands and thousands of videos out there. And there's not a whole lot on the Sonys. It's not really covered very widely, but I love these phones. They're my favorite. I think they shoot the best video. I think they have the best camera capabilities, but not for everybody. Like there are some instances where some folks might want like the S23 Ultra because it does have better low light performance. I think it has better low light video, and the selfie camera I think on the S23 Ultra is better. For me though, I like the continuous zoom. I like the manual controls. I like the Cinetone. Like that, you can't go wrong with either one. I mean, if you want to go out and get an S23 Ultra, you're going to love it. It's a fantastic phone. And I actually have a comparison video coming out on those too. So stay tuned. Of course, make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get updates. Might even release it tomorrow, but it's coming out very soon. I've been working on it. So yeah, they're the two best phones in the Android market right now in the flagship category. And then of course, right behind that, of course, you've got the Pixel 7 Pro and you've got the OnePlus 11. Actually, the OnePlus 11 is a very exciting phone, and I probably need to make another video on that because it's such a good phone at such a good price. But I wanted to make this video to maybe instill some more confidence in folks and say, look, this isn't the same as last year. They didn't just leave the same thermals in there. They didn't just leave well enough alone because, quite frankly, yeah, Sony gave us a bad product last year. I have no problem saying that. And you know, Sony sent me this phone to review and test out. And if they watch this and they hear that, look, the Xperia 1 Mark IV did a disservice to folks who wanted that phone because the heat-related issues were so bad, even after it did get fixed somewhat with some software stuff. But still in hot climates, 90 degrees, yeah, it's still overheating pretty quick. So, yeah, that's all. I just wanted to talk about this stuff, bring this to light, and share it with you guys and say, look, they fixed it. These are the things they did. They reworked it. The processor, light years better in that department, better production load, better power and performance ratio stuff when it comes to thermals and all that stuff. Better battery life even. I mean, I'm getting over 7 hours of screen on time, 120 hertz on dark mode. It lasts me all day. Like, I don't even have to worry about middle of the afternoon, middle of the evening, eating dinner. What's my battery life like? I don't have those problems. So, yeah, this is a fantastic phone. They did a great job with this stuff. They fixed the thermals. They fixed the heat issues. They fixed a lot. And here it is. So, that's all I've got. Like I said earlier, if you have any questions, you have any comments, like I said, I didn't say that. But if you have any, please go to the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out, which is new videos every day. If that's something you like, you're in the right place. And also, it's Memorial Day weekend when I'm making this video. It's being published. So I hope you have a wonderful Memorial Day. Remember the reason for the holiday. Me being a veteran myself, it's not Veterans Day. Veterans Day is to celebrate those who have served, who are still alive. Memorial Day, of course, is to recognize the sacrifices of those who lost their lives during service, whether in the United States, whether you celebrate this elsewhere. Just remember that while you're out barbecuing, enjoying the beach, and have a wonderful, safe weekend. Thanks for all that you do. I appreciate you showing up all the time to watch my videos. You make this possible. And I'll see you guys next time.